Alright, so this will be a feedback slash critique for Caroline. Caroline! I'm just gonna be thinking of that fucking Outcast song the entire time. Now I just blanked. Roses! That was the song. Alright, look. So I was just kind of following along the messages you were having in the Josie Discord earlier. So I have some responses to that, but the main point of this video is just going to be analyzing this match, seeing where you can improve, and seeing what you can do. Disclaimers, right? So I am a nerd who likes Tekken and Josie. I'm not necessarily like a professional at this game by any means. I'm just someone who, I got some free time. I like Tekken a lot, and I want to provide some feedback based on what I've seen, based from playing Josie, based on watching Josie match footage. These are some little tips and tricks that are like, hey, look, this is not necessarily going to rocket you to fucking Tekken God Omega, but should help you along in your journey of learning Tekken. So, law. That should be fun. Wow, a 5-bar law. You never see those. Right. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna say that I think I'm not sure if you knew that was the punish. Honestly, I didn't even think I knew that was the punish. I always get tripped up whether or not he does the 1 or 2 flips. But the fact that you got the this is not YouTube, right? Look, the fact that you got the combo, you got the launch, and your combo structure is very solid. No nonsense, just bread and butter. I think that's a good start. Right. Now, this is a situation that you do want to lab, right? The dash up follow up is very easy. You're not necessarily going to get the full, down back 4, 3, delay 2, but you could easily have gone for, dash up, down 3, 4 into switch 1 for, flip over for some Oki and other stuff. So that's like the only thing there is that you want to, always try to capitalize on any damage you can. Josie wasn't exactly gifted with some big combo changes or damage buffs or increases during Season 4 changes. And Josie just, becomes a monster on a walled stage, and you want to take every advantage you can. Okay, and that's another thing. That's another thing, right? So get-up kicks. They're super popular, and everybody fucking loves doing them online, especially at the low ranks, right? Try to lab those situations. Any get up kick, all the get up kicks are punishable, right? And the one what was the law in? So the law was face up, feet towards you. So that specific get up situation, I want to say is -14, -13 maybe. Josie should at least get like an easy back 1-1 punish or 1-2-2, whichever. I'd recommend checking out that situation because when you have a read like that where you just block the get up kick, Josie especially is typically either going to like launch them for easy damage because wall standing 2-1 is a 13 frame launcher, or punish them really heavily because at -14 you have an easy punish with forward 1+2, which is going to wall spot your opponent. So consider improving on that. Oh, that's an unfortunate. Rip. Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened there. I'm not sure if it was an autopilot situation or you were just in the heat of the moment. But, all switch moves are counter hit launchers except switch 4, which is a wall bounce, which might as well be a launcher, right? You got to capitalize on those big damage situations. Yeah, that's not much to say there. Unfortunate. So right here, right, I noticed that you're very defensive to a degree, like you're not throwing out too many unsafe moves. You're not like, oh, let me just do classic Josie 1-2 forward into switch into blah blah blah. You're not doing any of the noob traps, which is great. But your matchup knowledge is a bit lacking, and I'll talk about that more later. You see the law, and he's clearly, this is just future advice, but this is a mixture of generic advice and law specific advice. Martial law is a fucking monster to chase down. You do not want to approach this guy if you can help it, right? His down 4-2 is homing. His down back 3-4 is like got this weird evasive crush property where like highs, he just goes under all sorts of highs. It's ridiculous, right? The point being is, if you have distance between you and the law, you make the law approach you, right? You want to make sure that the opponent is approaching you. Why? And think about it like this. Look at your life. Look at your life lead. Look at the law's life, right? Why are you approaching in this situation? What advantage do you gain from approaching right now when you know the law has to come to you, right? And Josie's keep out isn't godlike, but she has decent keep out tools. And more importantly, she has stuff like butterfly edge, right? Up forward 3 or up 3, up back 3, whatever. I'm gonna try to avoid too much rambling, but the point being is that you are forcing your opponent into unfavorable situations. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't matter what the character is. A character approaching you is going to be a lot easier for you to disrupt them, to get in it, to poke, etc., than it is for you to chase the opponent down. And really at the end of the day is that you don't create more work for yourself. Don't work more than you already have to. If you have the life lead, it's fine to just hang back and let the opponent approach you. And then let's see how the approach goes. Right, so you approach forward, and I'm not sure what the approach tool was. It looked like forward 4. It could be deceiving the animation, and the law just like smacks you, right? Just characters like Law, characters like Lee, if you chase them down and they look like they're doing a weird fancy animation, you stay the fuck away from them. You run the fuck away, because all their bullshit evasion and sort of just kind of like, you did a move, well, I'm in my stance that just says fuck your move, and lesson learned. But it's fine. You have a solid enough life lead, and the Law, even though he has rage and is getting that damage boost, he has to do way more work than you will to close out the round. Legend kick is a fucking sick move. It's also a high, right? The moment you see the Law from like every fucking Law at these early ranks, right? If they're 900 yards away and they're in their dragon stance, right, the DSS stance, they're gonna do legend kick. They're gonna do legend kick and just duck, launch them, and make your life a bit easier. Okay, so again, it's you have good defensive instincts to a degree. Like you're not trying to like kick around too much. You're staying on the ground. This is solid. Your general approach has been, let's hang back. Let's just hold back to block. But then it's like these weird situations where you try to, like right after legend kick, right? You're super negative, and you try to like press a button with forward 3. Forward 3 is not going to counter hit anybody when you're like -9 or whatever legend kick is, right? If anything, you're going to counter hit. Maybe not now, right? But all the Law has to do is press down forward 2, and forward 3 doesn't really have the greatest range and hitbox, and you're just going to get launched. I'm not saying this is like a how dare you not know this matchup. It's more of a situation of be more cautious with when you decide to press buttons, right? You need to be more aware of your situation. For now, it is better for you to just be like, okay, I blocked a move. I'm going to just hold it, and I'm going to just see what my opponent does first, as opposed to constantly trying to attack and steal back your turn, or trying to just be like, I'll just hit him with this and finish up the game. And then, not dashing forward into a Law. You tried to vary up, that was an unfortunate skip. You tried to vary up your timing with the get up kick, which I think is fine, but also take into consideration that just hold back, right? Do the quick get up just to get back into neutral and start moving out of the way. I think you talked a bit about like, sidestepping, and start using sidestep movement, lateral movement to disalign yourself from the wall. Look at where the wall is, look at where the opponent is. You want to start moving ASAP to disalign yourself as much as possible. So on the off chance that the opponent does clip you or hit you, they'll get a side wall splat, and ideally you'll just peel off the wall. And it's, you want to give yourself as much room to work with as possible. The goal should be your opponent's back is to the wall, not the other way around. Oh, okay, that was a good adjustment, right? You see the Law do like his weird, you know, taunting stance, little walk back, and instead of trying to approach, you're fine hanging back, and the Law disengages from his stance and tries to approach you. And that's the ideal, right? You have the life lead, and the Law has to approach you, so you don't make more work for yourself. Now that the Law is approaching you, that's when you want to try, like, jabs, 1-2, just one jab, etc. Or just back 1-1. Back one's kind of fast. It's fine. Try to again, always force the opponent into an unfavorable situation. Rip. Oh. Oh, that's a fucking tragedy. That's a tragedy. That does so much damage, and how the fuck did that hit? I mean, it looked like it whiffed. I guess the hitbox was just really active, and then you walked into it or something. Oh, that's a tragedy. That's a fucking tragedy. That does not feel good. Okay. Let's. Alright, I think you posted a second match. Let's take a look at that, and then I'll give my feedback, or summary. Let's see how this went. Okay, so that was neat. Okay, I don't want this. This video is gonna be they're always so fucking long. Look, right there, the Steve should have died. All right. The key thing about Josie is that her whiff punishment is insane. She has so many good whiff punishment tools. Up forward 3 hits across from the arena. Forward 1+2 hits across from the arena. Down forward 2, solid range. Back 1+, etc., etc. The list goes on. Taking advantage of your opponent trying to rush in and try to approach you with the move, right? When you have the life lead, again, think about that situation. You have the life lead, the opponent is enraged, which is scary, sure, but the opponent has one hit and they die, which is, causes them to freak out. They're going to try and rush forward to create their advantage, try to rush in at you, and boom, he's going to do a move. And you were doing really well trying to bait it out, right? And that's when you should have immediately just done down forward 2. Or if you're unsure of the range, like if you're just worried that, like, oh, what if they're a pixel away and they whiff up forward 3-4, up forward 3-4 always reaches, etc., right? As long as you make sure it's a whiff punish, you're solid. Let's see how this goes. Fuck Steve and his stupid stances. Unfortunate. Okay, I mean, one, don't use the power crush because the move sucks, but that's a whole different story. Don't use down 3-4 in the neutral. You're gonna, even on hit, it is not a natural combo string. Opponents will duck you, and it's not like, is this gonna happen in the Dan ranks? No. But the idea is that you're trying to avoid building bad habits for the future. If you're just in a mood where you're like, I don't want to think, I just want to turn my brain off and go unga bunga on people, yeah, do down 3-4 and just switch stuff, who cares? I'm not saying this as like a, you better fucking play this while you're, but it's more like, look, that move is a trap. If you let it become a habit, or if you ingrain it into muscle memory, it will 99.99999% of the time hurt you more than it will help you. Just avoid too many moves like that where they seem powerful at first because they lead to powerful situations, but they're actually traps because there's like a fatal flaw that the move just, you get eviscerated by. A tragedy. Okay. I'm just gonna stop it there. I'm assuming this leads to like a loss or something. I'll let it just play out. Yeah, the repeated down 3-4 into stuff. I think it's clearly like it's gonna become a bad habit, and just and 1-2-1-2-4. It's working out now, and if there's a time where you just want to press buttons and shit, go for it. All I'm saying is this: be mindful of those types of moves. All of the entries into Switch are the string entries into Switch are traps, right? You think like, oh, this goes into a stance at like +11. Oh, that's so cool. But all of them have like a fatal flaw that they can all just be ducked, right? And when an opponent ducks your switch entry outside of down forward 4 or whatever, your +11 situation becomes like -40 million because Josie is in Switch, a stance where she cannot block. Right, the whole idea of Switch is that you can't block, but you're +1 billion. So who gives a shit? When they duck and they don't block your entry into Switch, you whiff it. They get a free launch on you. You cannot do anything. None of your Switch moves, not even Switch 1, is going to come out fast enough to really save you. It's again, down 3-4, 1-2-4, whatever, 2-4 outside of punish situations, right? You want to avoid letting those become habits. It's very easy to like give into the power, right? Of, oh, if I just keep doing down 3-4, these fucking, these players cannot handle it. But that's a trap. Again, you're letting yourself get sucked into some pitfalls, these bad habits that are going to come back to haunt you. Let's see how the round plays out. Oh no, don't tell me. Oh, nice, he got it. Oh. Oh. Well, that'd be hilarious if that. Oh no. What the fuck? That worked? What the fuck? I think it's probably because the Steve pressed the button. Fun fact, if you press a button during sidestep, your hitbox becomes a huge fat ass and you get hit by everything, even though people are like, oh, I sidestepped that. It's like, no, you sidestep, but you press the button, which means you get to die now. But, okay. There's a lot. Okay. One. I like this. I like that. Well, maybe I'll keep it on that video. That's cute. What a cutie pie. Look, there's a lot to unpack here, and it's tough. There's a lot, and I don't want to like overwhelm you with information and stuff, right? So I'm just gonna do a quick summary. It's one, in neutral, try to avoid those cheesy strings, down 3-4, 1-2-4, etc. Once you know better and you know that, oh, I can get away with this because I know my opponent doesn't know any better, that's fine. The goal here is to try and avoid those habits become too ingrained, and then when you're panicking or you're in a scramble situation and you don't know what to do, all of a sudden your brain is just like down 3-4, 1-2-4, and the opponent just ducks and launches you, right? And the idea is like, look, you're not trying to play for Tekken World Tour here because you're playing against Third Dance. Who gives a shit? They're not gonna play by the same rule book. It's about, it's not like you're not trying to like, oh, I have to have the moral high ground here. No. You're trying to save yourself from future headaches down the line when you can't stop pressing down 3-4 and you just get demolished for it, right? That's the main goal here. Other tips for neutral, there's a lot to unpack. There's not really, you just need to use the single hit moves more, just do a single jab, just do down forward 4, etc. 1+4, that move is crazy good going into switch. Nobody fucking blocks lows online, but that's a whole different story. I'm not going to try and throw too much Josie knowledge at you in this situation. I just kind of watch the matches and said my 2 cents. Look, I think the 2 critical flaws that are happening here, it's a lack of matchup knowledge in certain situations and a sort of not really being able to figure out, okay, I just blocked something from my opponent, I can attack now, that type of deal. Because you constantly try to attack when you shouldn't, and then you get chipped away and counter hit and stuff. And then there's just random shit your opponent throws at you and it works because you've never seen it before, right? This video is probably too long, but I'm just gonna keep going, right? That's fine. That is 100% fine, right? You're gonna play 2,000 matches. You're gonna play 4,000 matches. You're gonna play 6,000 matches, and on the 6,001st match, you're gonna play some random on fucking Lars or some shit, and he's gonna do his unblockable, and you've never seen it before, and you get caught like deer in the headlights moments, right? And that's fine. This game is stupidly complicated, and each character has 10 million moves, and each move, for whatever reason, they all do random ass shit, and especially the newer characters, it's Tekken 7, so they all have like counter hit launchers or counter hit knockdown, blah blah blah. And that's okay, right? Because it's a learning process. I think when you're talking about, the feeling of frustration and stuff like that, that happens. And that happens to everyone. That happens to me. That happens to any person you see in the Discord server, they've been through that. My 2 cents on that situation is that you need to focus more on breaking down your learning and breaking down how you choose to learn the game. Because I feel like you're trying to take on too much at once, which is why even though I should talk more about like, hey, here's some cool Josie tips and tricks, right? It's that you're trying to take on too much and learning too much at once, and you're just kind of overloading yourself, causing burnout, causing frustration at this sort of. It's like you're trying to learn how to swim for the first time, and learning how to swim is fucking complicated, right? It's a lot of a lot of energy, a lot of movement, and then you're just kind of flailing around in the water, and it's a frustrating experience. And really, like anything, it's about breaking down each piece into small, manageable chunks, and learning each step, one step at a time, learning one punish here, one punish there, and you slowly build up that knowledge over time, right? And you just keep focusing on that, focusing on setting small goals for yourself that build up into a bigger overarching goal. Let's say you wanted to set a goal of getting out of green ranks. Give yourself till next year to get out of green ranks. Excuse me. And it seems like a long time, and it is, but a year goes by instantly, right? Like, how long did 2020 feel? And now we're in fucking December, and the year's gonna end. And God knows what shit show's waiting for us around the corner, but that's a whole different story. The point of the matter is, you need to create realistic, achievable goals for yourself to help build up your confidence and keep you on this path of learning to further grow and develop, right? And then as you build up your knowledge, then you start building confidence, and then you start fleshing on your Josie knowledge, and then you start learning Tekken, etc., etc. You want to build a solid foundation for yourself, and then keep building on top of that into a strong building of just Tekken knowledge. This shit does not happen in a day. This shit does not happen in a year, right? It can take years. It can take a while. That's just that's how it is when you're trying to learn something. And some people learn faster than others, and that's fine. But again, I feel like you're focusing too much on the destination or the end result, and not the journey. A phrase you'll hear often is, focus on progress, not perfection, and that is a mantra that I 100% try to live by. It doesn't always happen, and that's a whole nother story, right? Focus on progress, not perfection, right? Aim to be perfect, sure, but you want to focus on realistic progress, realistic goals to set for yourself, and try and take it one step at a time. Trying to hop into fucking ranked of all things and then expecting to learn every matchup, and then you get beaten by something and then you practice it and then you run into ranked and you never see that person again. That's just asking for failure. It's be more realistic with yourself. Be more like, let's say a focused goal is, okay, the next time my opponent whiffs something, I'm gonna whiff punish with X move, and I'm gonna try and do that 10 times or something out of an entire play session, etc. Stuff like that. Try to figure out where you think you're lacking, and don't just say everything. Everybody lacks everything. Don't just give yourself that. Okay, don't do that to yourself. Try to focus on an area that you want to improve on, and then build that up slowly. An easy feat would just be making sure that anytime you get a counter hit launch from a switch move is that you capitalize with the combo. You have the basic combo structure down: 4-2-3-4, screw, dash, 4-2-2, 4-2-3-3. I mean, you have some arguably better routes and stuff like that. Josie's got some really complicated combos and stuff. Don't worry about that. The goal should be not to leave damage on the table and not to just drop a combo when you had, or get like a mini combo when you could have gotten a full combo with wall carry damage and all the works. I've rambled on too much, and it's really just try and establish realistic goals for yourself. Try and build yourself up over time, and don't get wrapped up in seeing like, oh, look at how this person's progress, or look at how high ranked that person is. One, rank doesn't mean shit, and that's a whole different situation. But that's my 2 cents. But that's a whole different thing. If you have more Josie specific questions, feel free to ask them. I can upload another video. It's not that hard for me to make these things. I think I don't want to overload you with information. I'm just trying to figure out what you want to work on first, and then establish that. Once you establish that, create small, achievable goals for yourself to help build up your confidence, right? And then continue to build up on that. Build yourself up over time. Don't focus on your opponents and tearing yourself down. That's a whole different ball game. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You're in the Josie Discord. They're all cool there. They all have all these crazy Josie techs and setups. It's awesome. She's a fun character, and it's a journey. Like learning any character, even Josie, right? It's about making sure it's about the journey, not the destination. And that journey is taken one step at a time.